Hi, we're going to start out standing today, and I'd like you to get into parallel, hip width apart, or slightly turned out if that's more comfortable for you. And just so we just get a basic motion in, I'm going to have you roll down and up a few times with your breath so you can establish a baseline for how you're feeling in your spine. Start with your weight over your heels, and without a lot of strain, just perk yourself up into your tallest comfortable posture. I want you to start out with a nice big inhale through your nose and imagine the air going down to your feet and all the way up to the top of your head. Then when you exhale, drop your chin and start to round forward, letting your knees bend a little bit as you curl, so like a half squat. And then as you inhale, I want you to roll back up to straight. Let's just do that 2 more times. As you exhale, nod the chin, let your arms be heavy and your shoulder blades spread apart as you curl down. And then inhale, press down into the floor, lift your chest, lift your chin. 1 more time. Start to curl forward, softening the knees to help you flex your spine, and then roll back up to standing. Okay, so 1 basic move. Now, I want you to try shimmying your shoulders. So just alternate elevating one, then the other. And feel on this one how small you have to keep it so that it stays in isolation of your shoulder blades. If it gets too big, you'll start to side bend, and just keep it tight. Okay, now I want you to go through the roll down we just did while doing the same shimmy with your shoulders. So start the shoulders first, and then start to roll down on your next exhale. You might get behind the breath. I should not have bothered telling you a breath. Now your arms will feel like they're alternating, one reaching down towards the floor, then the other, and then I want you to roll back up. Okay, so it starts like elevating your shoulder blades. Eventually, as you round down, starts to be protracting and retracting your shoulder blades. Just let your head hang, look down towards your knees, and then roll back up. And now let the next one be a little bigger, so it's still leading with the shoulder blade glide, but it lets the ribs rotate a little bit, and then come on back up. Now, when you get up, stay up. I want you to keep shimmying the shoulders, but now reach your arms forward. And let's take it all the way overhead, and I want you to look up to the ceiling, so you're just like reaching like a little, climb the ladder. And now, as you come down, take it out to the sides, but I still want you to make it that alternating reach. Like you're just trying to feel for that wall, then that wall, then that wall. I am shimmying because I was trying to exaggerate. Sorry. Let's go down again. The very thing I told you not to do. Round forward. Now let those ribs go, and we're just going to add a little rotation or release. Like you're just kind of like you're shaking tension out of your body. Roll back up. And then let the ribs keep going with you as you reach forward, go overhead, you're lifting your chest. Now go ahead and reach the arms out. Let the shimmy happen. Just reach a little further and further and further and further. 1 more time. Take it down towards the ground. Weight still in your heels. Abs still supporting you. Releasing through the low back. Roll yourself back up. Stacking up your hips, ribs, head. Then start to shimmy those arms up. Lift your heart. Reach, reach, linger here. And then just play around with that reaching out, letting your body side bend just a little to follow it down. Okay, let's head down onto the mat onto your back. Arms down by your sides. Now let's go through an undulating hip roll, and I want you to lead with a bridge, then a roll down to start. So space between the feet close to your body. Inhale to prepare. When you exhale, lift your hips straight up into a bridge. And when you breathe in, roll down 1 bone at a time through your ribs, low back, and hips. Then rock back to neutral, and from there, press straight up into your bridge. And inhale to roll back down. When you lift, emphasize using, let's say, like the bottom half of your glute and the top of your hamstring, so we get that connection of both ends, and roll back down. Like you'll feel how you're lifting the pelvis and the thigh is what I meant by that. 2 more times. Lift up, knees reaching away from your shoulders. Roll back down through your spine. And last one, exhale, pressing up, give a little weight to the big toes, and roll back down. Try reversing the sequence. So do the hip roll to go up. So I'm peeling the spine off the mat, visiting imprint, then increasing the flexion, rolling up till I'm straight, and then hinging at the hips to come down. Exhale, curl off, reaching your knees away from the shoulders, and then flex at the hips to come straight down. Exhale, compressing the abs to support as you roll up. Inhale into your back as you drop. Exhale, curl off. And inhale, lower. 1 more time. Exhale, roll yourself up. Inhale to drop back down. Reach both arms up to the ceiling. Rock into an imprint, so you're going to tilt your pelvis a little bit back so your low back feels flatter towards the mat. Now focus on staying in that position with your pelvis and low back. Lift up one leg into tabletop as you breathe in. When you exhale, compress your abs a little more to support your position and then pick up your second leg. All right, let's start toe taps. One more breath in before you do anything. When you exhale, lower one leg and tap your toes on the mat. Now your arms are reaching up just so they can't help. Inhale to lift. Exhale as you tap down. So I want you to bring your focus into your breath, hugging the ribs together. Inhale up. And then the sense that your exhale can keep pulling the hips towards the ribs. So you stay in that imprint. Inhale up and exhale lower. Now in the next few reps, let's add an arm scissor. So now when you exhale, reach back the arm that's on the same side as the tapping foot. Another arm goes to your hip. Inhale up to the ceiling. Exhale the other way. Now we're just going to do one more of these on each side. And then we're going to increase the challenge even more by doing both arms overhead. The coordination's easier when we do that, but the load of your arms makes it harder to hold your imprint, so watch out for that. All right, exhale. Start the breath. Tap one foot down. Reach your arms overhead, but only as far as you can while holding onto that imprint. Inhale up. That should be a good challenge. Exhale, other foot taps down. So hips and ribs keep drawing together. Breathe into your back so you can keep your abs engaged. Exhale, tap your foot down. Inhale, back up. And exhale, reach overhead. Inhale to lift. One more each way. Exhale, tap it down. Inhale up. And exhale to tap. Inhale up. Let's take one foot down and then the other. And relax your arms. All right, now I'll have you turn onto your side. Yeah, for a spinal rotation. All right, head is on your bottom arm, or you can grab a pillow if you prefer. Legs are in tabletop position. We're going to make a circle with your arm today as you rotate. So reach the arm forward at chest height with your palm down. Make sure your back feels elongated. You want to make sure you're not in a fetal position when you start. When you breathe in, you're going to bring your arm up by your ear. As it gets there, turn your palm up and start to rotate your upper body as you reach your arm back towards the wall behind you. Then when you exhale, circle your arm down to your hip and rotate your palm down there and come around to the front. Okay, so inhale for the top half, like you're drawing a rainbow. Turning your palm lets you open the arm a little deeper to that stretch. Exhale around to your hip, turn your palm back in. And inhale, arm goes up, head rotates. Press your knees down a little more to resist the weight of the arm. Exhale around to the front. You got two to go. Inhale, up and back. This should create great motion through the shoulder blade. Letting the shoulder blade move more in this case is going to give you more range of motion throughout the twist, especially back here in the chest stretch and around to your side. All right, let's take it to the other side. Okay, so get a 90-degree angle at your knee and your hip. Create nice long spine, and then stick your top arm out. All right, when you breathe in, start that circle. Go by your ear, rotate the upper body, let your head turn. Exhale, come around to your hip and back to the front. And again, inhale as you reach back, open the chest, and then exhale around to your hip and forward again. Inhale as you reach back. And exhale to your side. You've got two more times. Let the breath open your chest and exhale around to your hip and back. One more time. Inhale, up and back. Exhale to the hip and forward again. All right, come up into kneeling on your hands and knees. Setting up for a cat stretch. I'm going to give this to you in 2 breaths. We're going to do a few sets, and then we're going to do it with one leg and arm off the ground. Start out with an inhale. As you do that, push away from the floor and make your spine feel longer. When you exhale, tuck your tail under and begin to flex your spine. As you round, try to keep your weight even between the arms and legs. That'll help you remember to keep pushing away from the floor. Then when you inhale, stick your tailbone out. Start to straighten your back again. And now as you stick your tailbone up, you're going to lift your chest and chin, coming into extension with your spine. Then as you exhale, tuck your tail under, compress the abs, and that'll help you round that mid-spine up towards the ceiling. Now inhale, stick out your tail, start to flatten your back, let your breath fill up your chest as you extend. Exhale, tuck your tail under. It's the last one of these. Look at your pubic bone, and then inhale, stick out your tail, elongate, go through your neutral, lift your chest and chin. Okay, come back to neutral just for a reference point. Let's tuck your left knee in and your right elbow in. That will be our flexed starting position. When you breathe in, reach your arm and leg away from each other. I'm turning my palm down at that moment, and then palm up as I tuck back in, flexing and bringing the limbs. Inhale, reach away. Exhale, tuck back in. Now, it might take a couple reps just to make sure you're not moving forward and backwards at your arm and leg. You're going to make these subtle compensations to help your balance, which you need, obviously. Please don't fall. But just see if you can recognize them on the first couple reps. You're going to relax and switch to the other side, and then use the last 3 to see if you can fine-tune it a bit. All right, so coming into that start position again, make sure you feel even on the supporting limbs, tucked into flexion when you begin. And then inhale, reach arm and leg out, extending slightly. Exhale, tuck. Oh no. Reach away. I've picked an angle where my foot is tickling the plant. And tuck back in. Inhale away. Try to lift your gaze. Look at the fingers. Exhale, look down at your knee. Inhale, reach up and out. Exhale, tuck. One more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tuck. All right. We're going to stay in quadruped. I'm just going to turn toward you for a second. It'll be easier to see this one. Okay, now you're going to start out one leg reaching back, and we're going to keep the leg straight and move it laterally. So I'm going to take it out to the side. Oh, and I'm also going to rotate it laterally. I meant both those things. Going into as much range of motion as I can in hip abduction. And then when I come back, you'll see I'm passing my other leg and I'm going across the midline. So I'm coming up, out, and wide as far as I can, and then back across. Now, bring your gaze down to the floor like once you know what the move is. And try to stay aware of your neck and your head staying in line with your ribs. Back into more of a neutral position and a steady pressing away from the floor. You're almost there. Just one more time. Up and out wide, and then back across. Okay, I'm going to turn back to sideways just so you can see that angle on the other leg. All right. Reach your leg back. Start with it parallel. Get the sense of pressing away from the ground and a nice flat back. And then when you take your leg out to the side, let it rotate laterally, place it on the ground. We're going to go up and over the support leg to the other side. And you're going out wide and return. Now there's going to be a slight weight shift over here where you're shifting away from the leg. And challenge yourself on this. How small of a weight shift can you create? Ooh, that's where the good Pilates work is. Come into it slow, decelerate, resist. Put weight on the same side as the foot you're moving on. That arm will help. And back 2 more times. Up and out. Slow it down, press into it. And back 1 more time. Oh my God, I think I just broke my plant. Nope, I did knock off a leaf. I gotta go higher this time. I was getting careless. Let's go into your back. Bad plant, mommy. Oh, I knocked off 2 leaves. Oh, I just wish it was as easy as I could just like shove them down in the dirt and new ones just start growing. All right. One of you is going to tell me some genius way to do that, right? I just need to like cut something up the stem and dip it in baking soda or something. Who knows? Okay, let's go into the ab prep for now. Start out with your arms by your sides. Settle into a good neutral position with your pelvis, which allows you to have a slight curve forward in your low back and feel all the ribs anchored down into the mat. When you breathe in, you're going to tip your chin down just a little to lengthen the back of the neck. As you exhale, curl your head and shoulders off the mat till you're at the bottom tip of your shoulder blade. Now you're going to stay for an inhale. Check your pelvis. Make sure it's still neutral. When you exhale, lower back down. And so let's do that for a few reps just to get used to that pelvic stability. Inhale, tip your chin down slightly. As you curl up, you're going to feel your breath slide the ribs towards the hips and you hover your arms. So if you have moved your pelvis while you're inhaling, just tip your pubic bone down a little to go back to neutral and then exhale lower. So if you're noticing that's the problem, let's fix it before it happens now. Nod your chin. As you curl up, anticipate that it's going to tip up and just push it down right away. And now it'll stay still. Hold there as you breathe in, keep looking towards your thighs, and keep steering that way as long as you can before you lay down your head. 2 more like this. Inhale, tip your chin down. Exhale, curl forward. Looking to the legs, get your head closer to vertical. Hold here for a breath in. Imagine getting longer through the back of the neck. And as you roll back down, imagine that you still had that traction. It's like you're pulling up by the scruff and then releasing the support. Last time, nod your chin. Exhale, flex forward. When you breathe in, feel the breath expand the sides of the ribs, and exhale to come back down. Hands behind your head, elbows angled forward. We're going to keep doing the same ab prep. The weight of your arms here becomes part of the load you're lifting, so it might feel a little heavier on your abs, even though it's also supporting your neck. We're going to alternate a march and do this on a 2-breath pattern. When you exhale, tip your chin down, curl forward as you lift one leg to tabletop. Inhale, lower back down. Now the other leg. Exhale, flex forward. Inhale, lower. So let's keep going in that rhythm. Now, if you bring your attention back down to your pelvis, there are more directions that we could lose stability. It's still a good idea, if this is a good thought for you, to keep your pubic bone heavy, to keep tilting it down. That'll help you be neutral. But also pay attention to your 2 hip bones and monitor if they're rocking left to right now. So you can really feel the whole triangle reference point. 1 more on each side like this. And drop, and then exhale up and lower. Just quick pause, leave your hands there. Okay. All right, so now you fill up. My pelvis can rock forward, backward. It can go side to side. Now we're going to add an oblique rotation with your upper body. Your pelvis still can do all those things wrong. It's just going to be even more distracted than it just was. Okay, you're turning towards the leg you're marching up. On your exhale, nod your chin, curl up, and rotate towards the flex knee. Inhale, lower down. Let's alternate. Exhale as you lift. So yeah, you're still trying to stay neutral at your pelvis. Every time you tuck your knee up, that force of your leg lifting is likely to push you into imprint. So just expect it. Keep the pubic bone as heavy as the hip bones, and make sure you're moving by lifting, not just bringing the knee in. If you're not sure, bring your knee in even less, right? Make it run away from the upper body a little so the upper body has to chase it. Let's do 4 more times. Exhale up and across, back down, and lift and twist. And lower, 1 more to each side. Exhale, inhale down, exhale, lift and rotate. Inhale, drop. All right, before you get off your back, straighten out your legs, straighten out your arms, and I want you to just reach as far as you can away towards the opposite wall. Just arms climbing the ladder, toes stretching, feet flexing, and heels pushing sometimes. Then circle your arms around, tuck your knees into your chest, and just give your whole body a big, big squeeze and flexion. And then reach out again, be so, so big. I watched Camilla do a roll over this morning because we were doing something to her, but then she like flipped over and she looked just like this, squeezing like a little kitty cat in the sun, flipping over, and it just reminded me we needed this in this workout. 1 more time. Reachy, reachy, reachy. Wiggle, 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 and then pull it back in. All right, great. Let's go around to your stomach. All right, W with your arms. Let's take your legs into a turnout a little, like about shoulder width apart. We're going to begin with the breaststroke prep, which is just practicing isolating upper back extension and then build it into a full extension. So you want your arms positioned in a W by your sides. To play with this upper half, I want you first to take an inhale and reach your head away from your toes so you have the sense of elongation. Then when you exhale, start to lift your gaze towards the edge of the mat. Push yourself away from the floor gently with your forearms and draw your shoulder blades back and down. Stop when you still have a rib or 2 touching the mat. Now you're going to stay here for a breath in. Let's check in on the pelvis. Make sure you feel your pubic bone as much as your hip bones. And when you exhale, start to lower back down. So we still need to use that triangle as a reference point for neutral. Inhale, reach your head away from your toes. Exhale, start to lift up. Try to keep your neck long. Pull your shoulder blades back and down and open your chest as you lift. Hold here, take an inhale to stay at the top, and to exhale, compress your abs, lower down, hugging your ribs together, then releasing your neck and head. Inhale at the bottom, and then exhale as you lift up. As you hold for your inhale, let your breath bring your chest forward in space. Can you make that energetically? On your exhale, start to lower back down. Okay, now we're going to come up into a higher extension. You're going to take a breath in again. When you exhale, sequence letting your head lead. Let your shoulder blades pull back and down to follow. Now when you lift your elbows, keep pulling your abs in so you have a compressive support as you lift up. Stay at the top, take your breath in and use it again. Push your chest forward. Exhale, lower down so the chest keeps going forward as you lower your belly, each rib, your neck, and your head. Okay, now if you have very long arms, it's okay if you do not fully straighten your elbows on this one. If you're feeling too much tension in your low back, just ease off the top of that. Take an inhale at the bottom. Exhale, head and shoulders go up first, opening your collarbones wider. Press through the forearms, then lift your elbows and keep your heart lifted. Hold there, breathe in at the top. On the exhale, come back down. Resist shrugging your shoulders, just so they stay stable, riding along on the ribs, and then they'll get a little wider once you let your chest and head go. One more time. Breathe in at the bottom, and exhale, start to lift. Abs pulling in right away, anchor down your pubic bone, and keep pulling your chin up away from the pubic bone so you feel that whole front tissue open. Stay there and breathe in, and then lower down. Keep your eyes open and just let your gaze trickle down the wall so that the head is the last thing to hit. Okay, from there, sit back into shell stretch, hips onto your heels. Stay here, take a nice big breath into your back. And you're going to hold for an exhale, drawing your abs in a little bit more. Take one more breath in to stay there, and then roll up to sitting. We will stay sitting for half roll back and variations on half roll back. Okay. Leave a little space between your legs. Your legs can be flat-footed, or for a more shallow knee bend, just go heel down with your toes up. And try to find, as you're picking that, which position lets you get up onto your sit bones the best, so you can start vertical. Let's do a few just basic reps. Arms forward at chest height. Stay on your sit bones, and then you're going to flex forward with your upper body. Okay, so I'm going to curl towards the legs, and the gaze lands like in between the upper shins. Now stay in the C shape. Next time you exhale, roll your pelvis back, and I want you to curl off the sit bones towards your sacrum, and you're going to keep your lower spine rounded as you go down, and then as you inhale, curl forward again until you're on those sit bones. Exhale, as you roll back, slide your shoulders out of your ears. Your gaze will be forward at the wall. Inhale, dive forward towards your knees. Exhale, roll back, pull your belly button in, tuck your pubic bone up. Inhale, flex forward towards the legs. So when I put pressure into my heels on this one, for me it helps me to activate muscles back here to help me increase the tuck. That might be a good thing for you to emphasize if you're tight in your hip flexors. If I want to let this go, it helps if I could squeeze the opposing muscles on the back side. And digging the heels down just activates that whole chain up the back of the leg. How many more are we going to do? How about just one more this way? Roll back and then curl forward. All right, come back up to sitting. Scenery change one. Let's take your legs out straight. We're going to start from up here, roll all the way down, and go into a full set of the roll up. That last thing was like a prep to loosen up the low back, so you're ready for this. Okay, so now go ahead and flex forward again. If you're real tight in the back of your legs, put a little bend in your knees, and then roll back your pelvis, tucking your tailbone under, and you're going to keep curling down one vertebra at a time till you're flat. Let your spine reorganize to neutral, and take your arms overhead about half the distance towards the floor. As you breathe in, lift your arms up above your chest. When you exhale, nod the chin. We're going to go past the height of the ab prep imprinting the spine and then increasing the flexion. So we're in a C shape for the rest of the ride. We're going to stop right up on the sit bones. Inhale, roll back. You want to push out through the heel. So again, we want to activate energy down the back of the legs to engage those hip extensor muscles. And then unravel, reach your arms overhead. Arms up, breathe in. Exhale, nod your chin. Curl forward, dive over your legs. Roll back on your inhale breath. Exhale, unravel, reach overhead. Inhale up. Exhale, curl forward. Keep compressing your abs as everything else reaches towards your legs. Inhale, roll back. And reach overhead. You're going to go up one more time. You're going to stay up. Inhale up. Curl forward. Dive over your legs. And then sit up tall. Stay sitting. I just made an executive decision. I'm going to rearrange all the clothes in my pants drawer and divide them when I clean them between ones I can wear while exercising and ones I cannot wear while exercising. These are going to go in that second drawer. Okay. Back to half rolling back. But now let's do a set of obliques. Same legs you did before. Get back on your sit bones. This variation starts vertical. Both arms reaching forward at chest height. When you exhale, start the rolling back motion, and as you roll back, you're going to sweep one arm down and out to the side, and then inhale, turn forward, lift back up onto the sit bones. Alternate every time. Exhale, roll back, rotate your upper body, look at the hand, and inhale to lift back up. Exhale as you roll back. Breathe in, let the breath lift your chest. Exhale, use your breath to make that scoop, find the support. Inhale, back up. When you roll back, let your gaze follow the hand. Ideally, you want to be looking at those fingers and up, and that gives you a better shot of having the proper neck alignment. If you're positioned so you can see me, the head's rotating the same way the spine is, and it's also leaning where it's going, like resist this, that, and then up, and exhale, roll back, and lift. One more to each side, roll it down. Inhale up, last time, roll back and twist, and inhale to lift. All right, from here, we're going to come into a planking exercise. We're going to do leg pull front, just a few sets of that, and then we're going to do just a plank shift to come into a downward dog so we get more mobility in the hips again, stretch out a bit. Okay, so when you're setting up for the first exercise, we're going to have endurance in a planking position. So you want to spread your fingertips apart, leave just a touch of space between your legs, and then you're going to push yourself up into a plank, and we're just going to hold that for a sec, feel it, and then come back down. All right, so this gives you we're going to do a couple reps where you can just adjust the position of your hands or your feet if you just need to make more or less space. So go ahead and push up. Get the sense of pressing away from the floor, pulling your abs in, squeezing your glutes, and come on back down. All right, so hopefully you found a sweet spot. This time you're going to go up to stay, and we're going to add a marching motion with your legs. When you exhale, shift your weight into your fingertips and into your hands, press up to your plank. On your inhale, lift one leg to the height of your hip. When you exhale, shift back and point your toes. As you inhale, shift forward and flex your foot. Then when you exhale, put your leg back down. Take your other leg up as you breathe in. Now shift back, point the toes. Shift forward, flex the foot, lower your leg down. Let's tap those knees down. All right, 2 more sets of that. Exhale, press up, form your plank, get those glutes engaged. Now lift the one leg, try to keep your hips squared off. Shift back, point your toes. Shift forward, flex your foot, lower your leg back down. Other side. Inhale, lift. Shift back, point. Shift forward, flex. Lower back down. Drop your knees. I almost kept going. I didn't mean to keep going. One more round. All right, pressing up. Find that long line. Now breathe in, one leg to hip height. Exhale, shift back, point. Shift forward, flex. Lower your leg back down. One more time. Inhale, lift it. Shift back, point. Shift forward, flex. Lower, drop knees. Shift your weight back towards your heels. All right, just to get off your wrist for a sec. La, 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 la. Now, actually, while we're here, I'm sorry, I'm laming the shell stretch because I do feel like my butt's falling out of my pants. Okay, while we're here, can you just do this a few times, just pushing back and forth? When you do the plank to the downward dog, this is the action of the shoulders, so it'll be the same thing. can you create an arc? So you're not going to change the shape of your back at all, but as you're pushing back, you feel like you're pushing up and back. And that's the kind of support you're going to need to help your shoulders. That at this angle, the heels of your hands are pushing away. You can see how I'm pushing back. That's going to give you the proper alignment there when the load is heavier. Okay, so starting over your hands, let's push back up to the plank. And now tip your sit bones up to the ceiling and do the shift back towards your feet where the hips go up, wrists feel like they're pushing you away, and then come back down onto your plank. And again, sit bones lift and spread wide as they go up to pike with a straight back, and then drop back down on your exhale. Oh, breathe more than I'm saying. That's silly, girl. You should be going a little slower, that you cannot do it on a 2-breath pattern. And then back down. Take all the breaths you need. And then hinging up and lower back down. Just one more time. Pressing your weight back towards the legs so you get relief through the wrist, openness through the joint, and then back in. All right, drop down to your knees. We're going to go from here into a waving cat stretch so we can get extension to your spine and flexion one more time. So now I need to get actually into a shell stretch. Arms reaching out long, but instead of coming down onto the heels, I'm going to have you begin with your hips up and your chest dropped so we get a little extension in the upper back. Now we begin weight shifting into the hands as you make flexion. So you're going to tuck your tail under, lift your mid back up to the ceiling, and shift forward. Now push your hips down and start to unravel into extension, lifting your chest and your chin. When you exhale, drop your chin, start to roll backwards. And now stick your tailbone up instead of going down to the heels. Drop your chest, lift your chin, see if you can look towards your hands. Exhale, tuck your tail under, pull your abs in, shift your weight forward. Inhale, drop your hips down, lift your heart up, lift your head. Exhale, tuck your chin, pull those abs up to the ceiling and flex the spine. Keep shifting back. Inhale, stick your tailbone up, lift your chest, lift your chin. 2 more. Exhale, tuck your tail under, start to round forward. Drop your hips, lift your heart, lift your head, and then drop your head, round back. Inhale, stick out your tail, drop your chest, lift your chin. 1 more time. Exhale, tuck your tail, shift forward, push your hips down, lift your heart, lift your head, drop your head, round your spine. Stick your tailbone out, drop your chest, lift your chin. I'm going to mute for 1 second to cough. Okay, I'd like you to come up into this tall kneeling position. You're just about done. We're just going to finish with a little side bend from here. Leave a little space between your legs so you feel stable, and then reach your arms out to the side with your palms forward. When you exhale, side bend, bring your bottom arm across your belly, and then inhale, back up to the middle. And exhale to side bend over, and inhale, back up. Exhale as you bend, stack from tail to head, and exhale, side bend. Inhale, back up. 4 more times, root down your opposite knee, stack up to vertical, and over. Oh, keep going. So I would like to say happy birthday to one of my friends who's doing a great job doing these workouts every single day. Happy birthday, Stephanie. I didn't even mean that. Here's a big hug for you for your birthday. Everybody do this at home and hug Stephanie for her birthday. All right. That was a good move, actually. All right. So we'll call that the Stephanie from now on. Just one big hug, which is exactly what you're like, Stephanie. One big hug. All right. I love all of you. I hope you have a great day and a great birthday, Steph. Bye.